Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ajua and I hope this video finds you well. If you are new to this place, please consider subscribing. And to all my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your support and welcome back. So I think I posted a video not too long ago about my perfume empties, and in that video I discussed the ones that I was willing to repurchase or restock because I simply love them. And after filming that video, I just sat down, thought through my fragrances, and I just asked myself, which of my fragrances do I really honestly love enough to be able to repurchase as soon as they finish or once I'm through with them. And it was a bit difficult for me because I have quite a large collection and I love most of them. However, I just wanted to be honest with myself and really choose fragrances that I feel are worthy to be restocked or repurchased. And that is strictly my my preference. That these are simply my personal preferences when it comes to fragrances. The one that I will personally repurchase because they have served me well, because I love the scent profile, because they give me compliments, because they give me something else over other fragrances that I have, and I was able to come up with 15 fragrances in the Middle Eastern category. I'm not adding any designer or niche fragrance in this list. This is strictly Middle Eastern. And the very first one that came to mind was Khaltat Royal Blends by Lattafa. This one is quite new to my collection. I think it's about 2-3 months in my collection, and it's made such a huge impression on me. It is nothing out of this world. Let's just get it straight out there. It is nothing out of this world. It gives me something fruity with some pineapple, honey, sweet, sort of vanilla. I don't think it has vanilla, but it has something caramel, a fruity fragrance, for the most part, with a note of, or with a prominent note of pineapple and what I perceive as honey in it. That is what this one simply gives me. But I love this fragrance. I have a little backstory to this fragrance. My sister normally doesn't do a lot of Middle Eastern fragrances, if anything at all. I sort of introduce her to a few which she loves, but she's more into designer niche fragrances. So she was heading out about 2-3 weeks ago. She was heading out and she had some perfume on. I was just cooking. She came to the kitchen and I could smell something. So I was like, in my mind, I just felt like she had on like a diptyque sort of fragrance, so I didn't say anything. I just said in my mind, oh, she smells good. And then later I was like, Malika, do you have any diptyque or any, which fragrance do you have on? That's what I just asked her. And she was like, it's one of your fragrances upstairs. And I was like, which of my fragrances? Because I don't think I remember any of my fragrances smelling as it does on you. And she wasn't able to tell me exactly which one, but she just led me and we went upstairs. And when she showed me, it was this one. It smelled so different on her. It smells like a very quality sort of, it gives me that sort of diptyque, clean, but effervescent sort of citric, vibes. And I love this one. That experience of my sister wearing this fragrance, made an impact on me. But before then, even, I really like this fragrance. I was pulling it out like 1 or 2 times every now and then. But after that experience and smelling how it smells on her, to me, it's like it's made such a huge impact on how I see this fragrance, how I perceive it. But one thing I can say is that it smells so much better on her than it does on me. So much. It smells so luxurious, like a very niche, polished fragrance on her. Whereas on me, I don't really get that. Nonetheless, it's a very beautiful fragrance, that you can pull out like for a signature scent. You can wear it every day and it will make a lot of sense, all seasons. It has the depth, which makes it cut through the colder weather, and also bright and effervescent enough to be able to be worn during the hotter weather. In view of those experiences and how much I love this fragrance, I think it's going to be a repurchase for me. The next one I have here is a fragrance that I think I've been featuring in almost every single video I've been doing for the past 1 month, simply because I love this fragrance. It deserves every hype, it deserves every praise, it deserves every accolade. It is beautiful, and I will simply repurchase Ebhar by Rasasi. this one, you know, stunned me in a very beautiful way. It is very delicious. You know, I think I've done a video, I'm not too sure which one is coming first, where I've compared this one with Casablanca, Atik, and then Junun Noir by Haramain. And of all those 4 fragrances, if I'm supposed to choose one, I would just blindly choose this one as topmost amongst those 4, although those 3 are equally unique and I love them, you know, equally. But this one, you know, it was something that was quite surprising to me. I'll not say I'm the queen of vanillas, you know, I don't do a lot of, you know, sweet, feminine, not as much as I do my strong woody, you know, fragrances. But now that I'm really delving or, you know, experiencing a lot of vanillas, I'm really appreciating these very gentle, girly, yet potent, syrupy, resonant, rich, thick vanillas. And this is what this one does to me. It is very sexy, very bold, you know, very feminine. It doesn't come across as masculine leaning to me in any way. It is quite out there, but not like one that is going to be obnoxious. I love this one. I think I've had this for a little over a month, you know, and I'm going through this. I wear it on its own. I layer it with some other fragrances, and I have a story about one fragrance that I'll be, you know, sharing very soon. That combination gave me like compliments that I have never ever received, you know, in my entire fragrance journey. Those 2, this one and that particular fragrance, which I'll be introducing next, and that is also a repurchase. So I would always repurchase this, you know, fragrance, although I still have my Casablanca, my Atik, you know, which are all similar to this one. I think I would always repurchase Ebhar by Rasasi. So in line of the compliment or the story that I shared, I'm going to always repurchase Madawi Gold Edition, the 40th anniversary edition. I'm always going to repurchase this fragrance. It is absolutely a stunner. It is worth the price, you know. It's worth the price. It's quite steep as a Middle Eastern fragrance, but I was able to get this one from the Arabian Oud store in Dubai. I think I picked 2 fragrances at once, so I was able to get some discounts, and I was able to, you know, just get this one. These 2, when I wore them together, I was just moving from one, you know, store, rack stores, Burlington, Ross. I was just, you know, doing my normal rounds to see what's up. And every single place I went to, I was with my sister. Every single store we entered, someone had to give me a compliment, from the cashiers to other shoppers. Every single person, you know, I guess passed by someone and they're asking me, what are you wearing? And I had to write these 2 for the cashier because she was like, I need to know what you are wearing. It was that good. I would always repurchase. I'm not going to repurchase because of that experience alone, but in general, I think if you know me and you have followed my channel for any amount of time, you know I absolutely love this particular fragrance, and this one too has been a hit for me since day one. So these 2 I'm always going to get. If you have these 2, layer them and let me know what you think. You know, it is delicious, sexy, sensual, also cozy. It gives me that sort of very sexy vavavoom, you know, vibes. You know, I was like in my head the whole day when I wore this, and the compliments kept coming. And at a point, whenever people would say, oh, you smell good, my sister would just go like, oh, she has a YouTube channel, so follow her. You know, that was what she was just saying, following me the whole day. You know, she would just go like, oh, go to Ajwa Labs Fragrances, that is her, you know. And I absolutely had a great time wearing this one on that day. So I'll be pulling these 2 together for the most part. So the next fragrance I have in my collection that I'll also always repurchase, or at least for the foreseeable future, it's Fragrance World Rodrigo Rouge, which is supposed to be a dupe for Narciso Rodrigo's Rouge, you know. This I have repurchased. I didn't repurchase this actually. I was gifted this by my mom simply because she was also gifted this fragrance by a friend, and because she has seen that in some of my previous videos I talk about that particular fragrance, she was like, you could have it because I know you love this one. This is the OG version and they smell absolutely identical, about 90% or 95%, similar. I'm so glad to have the OG version in my collection, because as you are aware, or if you have followed my channel, you know that I absolutely adore that simple, musky, fruity scent. It is nothing special. It is absolutely nothing special, but it's a great musk scent. If you are into musks or musky fragrances, you are absolutely going to enjoy this one. It's like fruity, floral, musky, fragrance with some bit of woodiness at the base. The fragrance world version was one that I was going to repurchase anyway. So now that I have this one, I'm going to enjoy it as much as I can, And after this, if I want to repurchase, I probably will go back to the fragrance world dupe, because it is much more affordable and they smell so similar. So why not? So this is Narciso Rodrigo's Rouge, and I absolutely love the bottle, the scent. It is sensual, cozy, very feminine and ladylike. So thank you, mommy. I really appreciate this. The next one on the list, I don't have it here, but I have it in my collection, and that is Club de Nuit Intense Woman by Armaf. That is a very different scent profile from a lot of things that I have in my collection. It is very mysterious, gothic. It gives me that very funeral sort of vibes in a very sexy way. That is how I'll always describe that scent, because that is what it gives me. A very mysterious, sexy, grown woman, no nonsense. It is not playful. It is not like ultra feminine, but very sexy and out there. And the prices is ridiculously low these days. When they initially came out, they were quite expensive, but now I think they go for around $25, which to me is very reasonable. So why not? I'll always replace that. The next fragrance on my list that I'll go out the following day as soon as it finishes to repurchase is Qaeed by Lattafa. That is a phenomenal unisex fragrance, which is quite spicy with the cardamom, the cinnamon, the vanilla, the leather, that sort of birch, leathery nuance. It is phenomenal. It is a classic fragrance at this point, when it comes to Middle Eastern fragrances. Like if you're an OG Middle Eastern person, I'm sure you have come across it or you own a bottle. Everybody, I'm yet to see anyone who hates Qaeed, unless you're a hater, unless you are really a hater, or you don't like spicy, delicious, gourmand sort of, fragrances, then you might not like it. But everybody, in person, on YouTube, on social media that I have come across seem to love Qaeed. I love it. It leans a little bit masculine, but I mean, for me personally, I wear it, on its own. I sometimes also layer it with Target mixed bar bourbon vanilla. Most of the time, if I wear it, I want to make it more feminine. I layer those two together, and it's very delicious. So I mean, I can't complain. It is readily available, and currently the prices have even gone down more. So why not? It's going to be perfect for all year round, especially the fall and winter. So if you have not had your hand on Qaeed before, this is a perfect time for you to try your hands on. So that is Qaeed for you. The next fragrance on this list that I think I will repurchase is Raina by Alhambra. I had Ansam Gold, and I think I featured it in one of my previous videos as part of my empties. I have gone through that bottle, that 100 ml bottle, within some 6 months, because I simply love that scent profile. But this is my Oriana of choice. I prefer this one a little over Ansam Gold, and I'm so glad that I didn't pick up a backup bottle of Ansam Gold, but I picked this one rather. And to me, if this one ever gets finished, which I doubt is going to be any soon, because I just feel like I have sort of getting so much of Ansam Gold DNA that I just want to slow down on it a little now, and since I have this one, if I ever should finish with this bottle, I don't think I'll go and purchase Ansam Gold. I'll rather get this one if they are also available. This one, I love the scent profile. It's almost the same, I think the only difference between this one and Ansam Gold is that I feel like Ansam Gold has something a little smoky, nuance to it, whilst this one does not, and that is what makes all the differences to me. I love smoky scents, I love smoky fragrances, and but there's something about it, there's something about this one that I much prefer over Ansam Gold. So that is it. I think I will repurchase this one, although I don't think I'm going to go through this one anytime soon. So the next fragrance that I'll always repurchase is Charutto Tobacco Vanille, which is obviously a Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille dupe, and an excellent one, which is even much more spicier than the OG. You know, it's much more spicier because I get something like ginger, you know, licorice sort of vibes from Charutto, whilst in Tom Ford I don't really get that, but they are very, very similar. That is a repurchase for me. It's a classic. To me, it's a classic, a very gentlemanly, womanly. It is not ladylike. It is not like young. It is not juvenile. It is not playful. It is quite serious, quite sophisticated. A gentleman's club sort of scent. A lady who he's a boss lady sort of scent. I love that scent profile. It is you know, classic, as I said. It's not going anywhere from my collection. I think I'm on my second bottle, you know, on my second bottle of Charutto Tobacco Vanille. And as soon as the second bottle is gone, I'm going for a third bottle. That is how much I adore that scent. You know, I normally don't wear that fragrance layered with anything. I like it straight up. You know, it gives me that sort of very powerful feel, you know, boss lady sort of, you know, feel, you know, it makes me feel very confident, you know, and I'm always going to repurchase that. So that is Charutto Tobacco Vanille by Paris Corner. This is Fragrance World Fiore de Louveau, fashioned after Zejov's Fleur de Louveau, the same name, you know, but different bottle. It doesn't give you the impression that it's a Zejov dupe, you know, but apparently it is. This I'll always praise. You know, I would love a lot of people to try this fragrance. It is nothing super special. It is quite simple, quite an everyday fragrance, very feminine, girly. It's very girly, a delicious sort of, you know, olive blossom, some lily of the valleys, magnolia, lotus. It gives me something like cherry, you know, although it doesn't have the note of cherry, but it gives me that sort of, you know, very effervescent cherry nuance here, and I love it. It is very delicious. It's like a very very watery, aquatic sort of floral, fruity fragrance. That is what it gives me. And I normally don't like a lot of floral fragrances. If I'm doing florals, I prefer it boxed with some aquatic, you know, or fruity notes. And this one is a classic example of my floral of preference. So this is Fiore de Louveau from Fragrance World. The next one on this list that is a repurchase for me is Haramain's Junun Rose. I think there's a lot more hype about the Junoon Noir than the Rose, you know, but to me, this is a very sophisticated, ladylike scent. I get compliment upon compliment on this fragrance. You know, it gives me very sophisticated, ladylike. I think it's a dupe of Amouage Blossom Love. Yes, if I'm not mistaken, Blossom Love. And I absolutely love this. The scent profile is quite different. It might not necessarily be for everyone because of that amaretto, which is like a liqueur, you know, but it doesn't come off as typically boozy liqueur sort of vibes. It is much more nutty with some sweet sort of rose scent, you know. It's very nutty, very strong in the fashion of a lot of Amouage, you know, fragrances, and quite different, you know. It's quite different from a lot of these rose nutty sort of, you know, fragrances. That is what this one gives me. I feel very polished when I wear this. I will wear this fragrance with a dress like I'm wearing a very like a midi pink dress. That is what I'm wearing today, and I will pair this dress, for example, with this because it gives me that sort of very ladylike, covered up yet very elegant, you know, sort of feel. So this is Junoon Rose by Haramain. Following the Haramain line, I would absolutely repurchase Junoon Noir. This is different from any other thing that I have, although I've compared it to other fragrances in my collection like Atig, like Ebhar. It takes a different turn altogether when it comes to being a fruity, citric, you know, powdery vanilla scent because of that kumquat. They share similar vanilla, but this one takes a different, a much more different direction because of the kumquat. It is a very powdery, rich, elegant, yet, you know, to me, I would simply describe this one as a rich man's wife scent. You know, if you know of any rich man's wife, this is how she will smell. Not too much out there, but as soon as she passes by you, you know some money is passing, you know, on your streets. That is how I see this one. A very lovely one. I think I would always have this one in my collection because I can layer this with virtually everything that I have in my collection when it comes to vanilla, you know, fruity scent. It pairs beautifully with a lot of vanilla fragrances. On its own, it is beautiful. So personally, I'll highly recommend this, and I'll always repurchase Junoon Noir. How can I do this list without adding Eternal Max by Paris Corner? That to me is the epitome of sensual, or being sensual. To me, I would always want to have that fragrance in my collection. Currently, I'm not finding it anywhere to repurchase online anywhere, but I'm sure as soon as I get to Ghana, I'm going to find that fragrance. You know, that is where I got my original bottle from. That is the epitome of lady, like cozy, warm, sensual to me. You know, it gives me everything that I want in a musky fragrance. You know, I have a lot of musk, you know. I like my potent, strong, in your face, beast mode, oud scent, but Max is maybe a second favorite when it comes to fragrance notes. I love me a good old musk, you know. I don't like very old school musk. I have Giovani musk, but I hardly pull it out because it feels a bit dated to me. But Eternal Musk is musk with some fruity sort of gourmand, lactonic. I get something like berries. Up to this day, I don't know the no structure for that fragrance, but whatever it is amazing to me. I will always highly recommend that fragrance. It's quite hard to find from what I understand, you know, especially for people in the US. I don't know about elsewhere, but in Ghana, it is quite readily available. So it is a definite repurchase for me. I can't even wait to smell it again, you know, on myself. It's one that is good for like intimate occasion by yourself when you want to feel clean. You don't want to do too much, but it also gives you a presence. So Eternal Max is a definite repurchase. Wherever you find it, you know, if you come across it, trust me. Like if you come across Eternal Max, and at least you trust me for, even if you trust me like 40%, pick it up. I'm sure it's not going to disappoint you. So that is Eternal Max by Paris Corner. The next one I have on this list is Dar al Shuyukh by Dar al Qaeed. This is always, I don't want to even say it, but this is going to be my chocolatey cacao, vanilla, citric sort of, you know, fragrance of choice. My number one when it comes to a lot of gourmand fragrances, you know, like I can pick this one over a lot of gourmand fragrances that I have when it comes to straight up, you know. I'm not talking about gourmand fragrances that are boxed with other things, you know, but like a straight up gourmand, chocolatey, vanillic, you know, sort of vibes. This is absolutely my number one. You know, I'll pick this one all day over Choco Max, Nebras, which I didn't want to mention. So many of them, you know. I'll choose this one over them like any day. It is absolutely delectable, very heavy on the chocolate, heavy on the not so much on the vanilla, but much on the chocolate sort of, you know. I get a slight hint of coffee, but not really, you know. It gives me predominantly cocoa, chocolatey, a dark sort of chocolate. It's not like a white chocolate which is milky, you know, not that. This one is like a heavy brown chocolate sort of vibes, very dense, intense. It is a very delectable, very realistic, you know, chocolate scent, and I absolutely love this one. I think it's also quite hard to come by, you know, but I know Tells Fragrances GH, she has this. That is where I got my bottle from. So if you're in Ghana and you are looking for it, you get it from Tells Perfumes GH. She's on Instagram, TikTok. You can just Tells Perfumes, you'll be able to see her. This is absolutely delectable, so I'll highly recommend. If you can get your hands on it, why not? And the last one I have on this list is Caesar by F.A. Paris. It's part of the Giovani Lorenzi line by F.A. Paris. You know, Caesar is supposed to be a dupe for Tiziana Terenzi's Chimera, and that is like a beautiful concoction, a potluck of every single thing. It has over 20, 25, 30 note structure. It's one of the fragrances I've seen with the most note structure, from floral to gourmand to sweet to fruit to leather. Every single thing you find in this particular fragrance. I don't think I will ever be able to describe this fragrance perfectly. You know, I don't think so. It stands you, you know, you'll be short of words. You will not be able to describe how amazing this particular fragrance is. You know, it's a bit earthy, a bit sweet, a bit chocolatey, a bit leathery, a bit floral. I would highly recommend that if you are into Tiziana Terenzi fragrances, you know, especially the more matured, much more solid ones, not the what people refer to as the lala. You know, if you are into those fragrances, it's not playful, it's not like overly playful. It is quite matured, a bit rigid, you know, a bit strict, you know, and it screams power, you know. It's quite powerful, quite strong, quite in your face, yet very delicious, very approachable. I mean, where can you get all these, you know, in a fragrance from, except from Caesar by F.A. Paris? So I think I'll always have that in my collection, although I don't see myself finishing my first bottle anytime soon, because it is that strong. The last fragrance on this list is one that I always wanted to repurchase, but I didn't for whatever reason. And not too long ago, I picked up a fragrance which has totally replaced Alhambra's Nacortic flower for me. I love Nacortic flower. It's, you know, one of those clean girl, lychee, floral, musky fragrances. And when I got my Orienticus, Fleur de Orientica, to me, it's like very, very similar. It's not like the same. This one is a little much muskier than Alhambra's version. The OG version is amazing. I love that scent. Very ladylike, demure. It gives me a very motherly sort of, you know, vibes, and that is what I get from this one in the Alhambra's version, Nacortic flower. I finished my Nacortic flower like a year ago. You know, when I initially got it, I ran through that fragrance quite quickly, and I was waiting to replace it. But I mean, we always see new things and go for newer things, and I never replaced it until I got this particular one. For this, people were saying it was a dupe for Parfum de Marly's Valleya, which I have not smelled before. But if there's one thing I'm sure about, I know it's a dupe for Fleur Nacortic. You know, it has a slight difference between this one and Fleur Nacortic, in that this one is much more muskier, even with a Alhambra's version. So personally, I prefer Alhambra's version, you know, to this one. Although I would wear this one, I will utilize this one. But if I should ever finish with this one and I want to repurchase, I'll go back to my Alhambra's version, which is Nacortic flower, because for some reason I prefer that one a little over this one. Although I will wear this one, and I'll also highly recommend this one. So let me know in the comment section which fragrances that are in your collection that you in a heartbeat, you know, replace. I would just love to know. Let's discuss it in the comment section. Thank you so much, and I hope this video found you well. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. I would truly appreciate that. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in my next one. Take care. Bye bye.